and that is Destiny Rising on mobile. So I got into the alpha, and the footage I have recorded here is recorded directly from my phone, and well, the graphics look like an N64 game currently. Um, Definitely nowhere near as good as they looked in the preview trailer. I will give them credit, say, okay, this is just the alpha build. It's not intended to look as good as the product that they showed. I'm hoping that there's going to be some dramatic improvements because it looks really, really rough. I mean, it really does look like basically an N64 game. Like somewhere in between an N64 and a PlayStation 2 game, but not quite either one. Like the footage that's being shown right at this moment is just in like the hub area where there's like a lot of missing textures and um, just the visuals look very, very rough. In terms of how it controls, I'll go ahead and here there will be some combat shown off. So I'm using a controller attachment for my phone, which I have somewhere around here, over here. This controller attachment for my phone, and it controls very similar to how Destiny and Destiny 2 control. The major difference being that like they don't have a crouch button, so they have it so like basic melee attacks are tied to B when normally they're tied to uh, L1 or R1. I think it's R1 normally. I'm kind of mixing it up in my brain because like I just had the muscle memory, and then of course I've played a lot more on my mouse and keyboard than I have otherwise. But and then like they have the like this powered melee and a related attack map to L1 and R1. So it's kind of mixed up compared to how it is in the original Destiny. The biggest thing being the fact that you don't have the ability to crouch, which also means you don't have the ability to slide. And I use those abilities all the time playing Destiny. So that part has thrown me off quite a bit. Of course, I haven't been good with just a controller in a really long time. At least not, to where I've been fully comfortable with the controller. And so it ends up being a situation where, like, even though I know I have all the muscle memory tied to playing this game with a controller, playing Destiny 1 exclusively with a controller because it was just on PS4 or PlayStation and Xbox, since it was actually on PS3 and Xbox 360 as well. But then, playing little bits here and there with the controller on Destiny 2. And I don't know how to explain it exactly. So I guess let me back up a little bit and say, in terms of, apart from the graphics, so the hub area basically looks very much like N64 graphics. When you do cutscenes, particularly when you're out in like missions, the cutscenes look a lot better. They look more like early PS3. Like there's still improvement that's needed, but they do look significantly better than the rest of it. When you're actually in combat, that's when it goes back to being basically somewhere between N64 and PS2 on the visual side of things. And it's just one of those things where, like, it controls pretty well. It feels, for the most part, it feels pretty much like Destiny. So that's good. Like the aim assist and the way the guns feel typically is about the same. And that's very good for a mobile game. But it's definitely something where I can't 100% say I'm sure about this game yet. Of course, the fact that like you give me a choice between playing this and Destiny 2, I'm going to choose Destiny 2 every time. Um, but for the convenience of being able to play it on a phone, that certainly makes it interesting to play. Like, it's something that if I just needed to get a quick fix in, it's not going to be perfect because I definitely, missing a lot of the customization, a lot of the weapons, that sort of thing. And I haven't gotten any like exotics or anything yet, even though I think that there's one that I'm supposed to be able to get after I do a few missions. That's one I'm already familiar with. And so I don't know. I need more time. I've only done like probably 3 or 4 total missions, and so it's one of those situations where I just haven't played enough to really be able to say a ton about it. But I mean, like, I got enough experience with the combat to where I could say it definitely feels as much like Destiny should feel, I think, for a mobile device. But obviously nowhere near as good as the real deal. Like, I'm trying to think of what's the best way to explain it. I don't know. I guess it just feels like it's basically Destiny Light. Like, it's close enough to where if I just needed to get a fix, I could see myself potentially just playing for a little bit just for that purpose. But if I was really wanting to actually play Destiny, I would not choose this one. I would just play the real thing. The one thing that I'm not entirely sure about is whether I would want to play, whether this performs better, looks and performs better, or Destiny 2 played from a micro SD card that has Windows installed on it on my Steam Deck. Probably the latter. This one might perform a little bit better, but it also is just a lot more limited in terms of what you can do. But yeah, I don't really know if I have much else to say about it yet. I think I do want to spend more time on it, like try to do everything in the alpha that's currently available, because I'm sure that there's probably still plenty of stuff I can do. It's just a matter of having the time and motivation more than anything else, especially because I've just been so out of Destiny for a while. But yeah, I think that's probably all I really need to say about that. Now, before I start diving into my 2 main games that I've been playing this week, do you have any questions about Destiny Rising?
Yeah, so I guess one of the questions I had was, so for Destiny, I know that they said they weren't going to have any type of classes, and that you could just completely build your character for however you chose. Did you try to experiment when you were playing, or were you trying to make something that was more that was closer to what you had been experiencing before with Destiny?
Okay, so I think that there's a little bit of a misunderstanding of what they said, because what they said and what it actually is that you have basically a set character class with like specific abilities, and I don't know if it's only specific weapon types or if it's it's basically just not as customizable as a character in Destiny 2. But it's just like you have a limited set of attacks and abilities related to the specific character that you have. So like you can pick one of multiple different heroes. Like you start off with one specifically, and then as you play, you get more options for more of them to try out. And each of the ones that you try out has different perks and strengths and weaknesses. So it's kind of like a hero shooter version of Destiny, except of course with the actual single player and multiplayer functions. It's not just the arena kind of thing like you get with Overwatch.
Okay. And I guess then, so how long is the alpha period supposed to last?
I'm not sure. I need to look into that. It's very possible that it won't be very long, and if that's the case, then I guess I just won't play a whole lot. But I'll I'll try to get some more time in at least. Try to get through everything.
Okay, and I guess like there's some, and I'm guessing they have something that's that serves as feedback. Like you can say, here's like what I've experienced with the game and stuff like that. Okay.
I would assume so. I haven't specifically seen anything, but really, it's like I've only booted it up maybe like 3 times, and I recorded 2 of those times, but it's just been kind of a matter of figuring out exactly when I want to play. I do want to attempt when I'm at the office tomorrow to see if it's possible to boot it up. My guess is that I probably won't be able to get connected through the network. It'll probably be blocked. But I'll kind of see what happens with that. If I can get it working, I may end up just playing that during my lunch break. But we'll see.
Okay.
I also want to note, in terms of the performance, so you can choose different graphical settings. You can go with performance, balanced, or quality. I didn't have any sort of frame rate counter, but I think that, I mean, I went with performance initially. I tried out quality, and I didn't notice a drastic difference in the visuals, so I think I ended up ultimately sticking with performance. And then, I also tested out both first and third person, and I just went back to first. I mean, third person is nice for some things, like especially for platforming and that sort of thing, if that comes up, which so far I haven't had any like platforming challenges like in Destiny 2 or Destiny 1. But if I ever come across something like that, then I'll definitely take advantage of having third person, because it's always easier to do platforming in third person than first person. Which is why in Destiny 2, just about any time that I have the option with platforming sections, I will almost always equip a sword, because that automatically puts me in third person. And it's much easier to judge where I need to jump and everything. So.
And is it just a single button set to switch between perspectives, or do you just go into the settings?
Yeah, it's just right on the D-pad.
Okay.
So yeah, thankfully they make that part very easy. The only thing that is lacking so far, because of the way they use the D-pad, from what I can tell, is emotes. But I haven't really played enough to where I felt the desire to use emotes, even though emotes are like an important part of Destiny as far as I'm concerned. So there's probably still a way to do them, just it's not set up the same. So.